Well, it looks like I'm gonna be driving my old 2003 Ram for a while yet. We've all seen advertisements like this. Truck month, 0% financing on select 1500 models. Save over $18,500 on 1500 Ram models. Payments from $129 weekly. Yes, they keep pushing their products and they're selling, but for how much? That's what I'd like to know. Prices keep going up for trucks and buyers just keep buying. What's going on? I mean, we look down the car lot and there's no shortage of trucks. GMs, we've got Chevys, we've got all kinds of big pickup trucks, dually, single rear wheels, diesels, gas jobs. And I mean, even look at here, full-size HDs, we've got trucks of every shape and size. There's even tons of smaller trucks. For example, the little Colorado, like the Chevy Colorado like this, lots of these little trucks right here as well. We look over here, GMC Denali, there's no shortage of trucks anywhere, but yet they keep filling the lots and people keep buying them. Even though with that said, there's a lot of cars and trucks on the lot here. I mean, we look at all the inventory over here, but you'll notice vehicles are selling, they're gone. On one hand, we hear that trucks are not selling, cars are not selling, but on the other hand, have you heard that GM and Chevy have actually outdone Ford in terms of overall full-size pickup truck sales? Ram, while they follow up the rear, they've clearly always struggled with sales, but Ford and Chevy have always been a head-to-head contest, and yet they keep selling trucks. People are buying them left, right, and center. This lot here was full with trucks just a week ago. People keep buying them at these escalating prices. Senior executives over at GM have actually announced that they're happy with the success that they've seen in recent sales. Yes, they outsold collectively. GMC and Chevy have finally sold more than Ford in terms of all of their internal combustion vehicles. But this is all bolstered on the back of the fact that the big three, well, specifically Ford as well as GM, have actually announced that because of EV sales are down across the globe, it's hampering. Their sales are not doing what they expected them to do, and as a result, they're heavily leaning on the internal combustion drivetrains. But yet, vehicles like this, as we see the Blazer EV with the great little wheel hubs and of course the different style front end on this is an RS model, and we're clearly looking at an SUV that was offline there for a while because of quality control issues related to some of the infotainment systems. They had to get some of their programming right, and they were actually offline for a significant amount of time. Now they stopped the lift or work order and they're back. Blazer EVs like this are back in business. But look over here, we also have the Hummer EV. Yes, this full-size unit right here, believe it or not, are up in sales about 85,000%. Yeah. Can you believe that number? 85,000% increase in sales for the Hummer EV. They got this back in business and people have a real hunger for them. I mean, they have these really cool taillights. I'm not gonna lie, Hummer EV right here, as you see, this is a beautiful rig. I'm not gonna lie, it's very attractive, but it's just something about counterintuitive. You're trying to be economical and yet you put something that weighs this much and this size, it sort of works against you, I suppose. But regardless, some people love them, they're very interesting. Either way, what we're noticing now is Chevy and GM are having to take another stance. While they continue developing these vehicles, these electric vehicles like the Blazer EV, the Bolt, as well as the Hummer, they are not putting all their eggs in that basket. As a matter of fact, they're going more focused on their internal combustion engines, like we look at right here. We have a Silverado, pretty base looking unit. Obviously, no running boards here. You do get mats, of course, nice wheels on there. It's a Silverado. And look, I'm not gonna lie, that's a pretty looking grill on there by Chevy. But here, how much is this unit worth? Here, let's take a closer look inside here. Check the sticker on this unit, and we're looking at about $62,000. It's not an insignificant amount of money, but it is a pretty base truck here, as I said, 4x4 at least. At least you're not running rear-wheel drive on this unit. But back to the Hummer, I didn't notice it had a Monroney sticker on. Now let's take a quick look here. Right here we see a sticker. Any guesses, everybody? Any guesses on how much a Hummer EV is costing right now? Well, let's take a look. $160,000. That's right, 160 grand right there, everybody. So it's no wonder people aren't necessarily getting on the wagon with buying EVs. They're going with internal combustion engine, but the problem is ICE trucks aren't getting any cheaper either. I mean, just look on the lots and just get a better idea of how much these trucks are actually going for. Why do you think I keep driving my Ram? I mean, let's take a look here. Squeak on through here. Definitely we have an elevation right here. And oh, we have a sticker again. We'll take a look at that in a second, but We don't even get a spray and box liner in this unit, but it's a pretty basic looking unit. GMC Sierra Elevation, which we know is a more base model. Of course, you can tow things with it and you get the little step guard, so that's pretty interesting. But right here we can see that this vehicle is listed at $72,224, right, for basically a base half-ton pickup truck. And Ford sales are doing as well too. They're doing fairly well, but they had to drop the price on the Lightning because the Lightning's not selling. They had to highly incentivize the Mustang Mach-E, and Ram is slashing prices. Did you see my video last week where we talked about how much they were knocking off? As much as $18,500 off the price of some trucks. Save over $18,500 on 1,500 Ram models. But right here we have this beautiful unit. This clearly is a gorgeous little ZR2. It's a Chevy. I love the decals, and of course you got the red tow hooks here. This is a Duramax ZR2, and it's a half-ton. Beautiful. I love the looks of it. You've got the off-road rubber on here, all-terrain. Look at this beautiful Silverado. Nice backup cameras. This is a beautiful truck, but you know, it's got a nice lift on it too. Actually, I've got a buddy who just bought one similar, not the ZR2, but with that diesel. This has the small Duramax in it. And how much is that unit going for? Well, let's take a look. Oh, well, it looks like about $92,000 right there. Yikes. So again, trucks don't seem to be getting any cheaper. Ford's not doing any big discounts, although they're advertising some discounts. I'm looking at the stickers here, and everything is still as much as it's ever been. And the big three are wondering why electric sales are slumping. Well, we have this Bolt EUV or EV right here. It's pure electric, of course. We have the Monroney there. It's EUV. Yes, there you could tell, electric vehicle, Bolt EUV. It's an attractive little unit, but this essentially is a Buick Encore, or you know, a very, very small Chevy SUV or subcompact SUV. And yet this vehicle is going for a $48,000 price tag right here for the Bolt EUV Premier. So not an insignificant amount of money. You're $50,000 plus out the door and all the other add-ons. You're probably going to be close to that 55, 60 grand with taxes all in. So clearly that's a lot of money for a subcompact electric vehicle. It's no wonder they're not selling. People just want to get into something small, economical, maybe for 30 grand, 25 grand. Why 50? That's ridiculous. But we have lots of trucks here and they're sitting, or so it seems, but believe it or not, they're actually selling. Now I will comment, I've looked statistically, Canada is actually down in sales while the American and Mexican markets are up. So Chevy's taken over the reign, they're selling maximum trucks, they're outselling Ford. Ram continues to claw at the back end for their scraps, and yet these vehicles just keep on selling. And now VPs over at Chevy actually comment that they're very happy with the margins that they've been showing and the fact that they're making significant profits on the sale of their pickup trucks. Clearly that's a sign they're happy, but the customers aren't, and yet people keep buying. They're feeding the beast. Now here's a truck right here. We talk about, it's a little 4x4. We're talking about a little Colorado right here, and we'll look at the price here in a second. It's a beautiful truck, but honestly, these are now going for the price even more than a full-size truck was 5 years ago. So clearly it's a pretty little unit. It's, you know, you can tow some weight with it. Yeah, this is an LT, but let's take a look. Yes, you got 4 doors, which is nice, but over here, oh boy, $50,554, 51 grand. Again, $60,000 out the door for a shrunken down mini pickup truck. Now, this is even more money than Ford and of course the Maverick. The Maverick is selling like hotcakes because it's even cheaper and it's hybrid, and people seem to be okay with that. So it seems like the big companies here, the Fords as well as the GM and Chevy, are selling not just their full size but their smaller trucks like that as well, because they can't all afford the big beasts like this that cost a significant amount of money. So that's great that the VPs over at GM and Chevy land are happy with the profits, but they say they're going to continue reinvesting more of that internal combustion drivetrains into the market until they see some of the EV marketplace come up and they can gain some extra market share. Market share is a tough thing to gain right now with the Chinese market coming, knocking on the back door. Chicken tax is the only thing holding them back, and the floodgates are ready to blow open with the sale of cheap electric vehicles coming out of China. What we're having is the big three fighting to maintain sales in the EV marketplace. Tesla, big slump. They're taking a hit, and they've actually had to lay off 14,000 workers this last week because they're simply not able to sell enough vehicles, as well as they want to ramp up for the robo-taxi. All the big manufacturers now are knocking on the door of Tesla, and Tesla's been pushing, trying to get quick to the game. And clearly when people think electric vehicle, they all go Tesla. But that's all changing. All the luxury brands are stepping in there. Even the low-end regular brands are stepping in there. They're all trying to take a piece of the electric vehicle market, as mandated by the governments and the regulators, no less. But nonetheless, there's only a fixed number of buyers. And a big part of that is the truck prices. If the prices don't become more affordable, there's gonna be less and less and less people buying these electric vehicles and even full-size trucks. For now, they're holding on by a thread. And even with that said, you know, Chevy, GM, Ford, even though they're selling trucks in the internal combustion arena, that's going to slow down. I see the cost of living crisis here in Canada is revved up. More and more people living under bridges, living in tents. And we hear it all the time. Increased taxation just forces people to make hard decisions. Selling the expensive car that they've got payments, sell it even with negative equity, it seems to be a common theme these days. Or just making that decision, you know what, defer the buy at all. I don't need to buy anything. It's just too expensive. And that's what a lot of buyers are making, that decision to just hold off. Hold off for a while. I can't afford one right now. That's literally a conversation I'm having daily with people saying, cost of living is too high, taxes are too high, I just can't afford to do this. So there is a time, and we're starting to see that slump. Just look at the statistics. Look on the Chevy site, and you'll find that they've actually said, they've showed the numbers, and the Canadian sales are way down as compared to the American and Mexican markets. So I've basically said this over and over again. A lot of viewers who are watching the channel are saying, you know what, a lot of these trucks were almost half of what they are today for the same model and similar specification. They're just saying, give us a break. We need a break. Cost of living's high, people aren't making the money, and the cost differential is huge. Of course, the rising inflation costs associated with housing means that people are making those decisions. So people continually say they need to see prices come down, not this $2,000, $5,000, not even $10,000 off. They need to see numbers that are maybe 60% of what they're listed at today before they even start looking. Now, yes, while the big three seem to be continually selling vehicles, there's going to be a point where that just hits the wall and people just are running out of money. That seems to be the case. We're seeing the deceleration of the electric vehicle market, and next in line will be the ICE market. That's going to take a hit next. So I'd love to have a new truck myself, but until that time, I guess I've got to get into the old Ram here, my old 1500 right here. And I'm just gonna have to take this one for a ride and make this do as long as I can, just in order to be able to save up my pennies and dollars, because I'm gonna have to make many more trips to the bottle depot to save up enough coins to buy one of these new pickup trucks. And of course, with all of that said, in light of all these beautiful trucks, I'd love to have one day, and we'll see, we'll watch for these prices. But till then, I'm gonna keep you up to date as to what the prices are looking like, the truck, the car market, and I'm gonna try to give you some of the best options out there. As well, on top of it, be sure to check out right there, that video, you're gonna like that. That's all about what's going on in the Jeep and Stellantis and Chrysler Ram camp. Things are struggling over there. Hope to see each and every one of you on the next one. We'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.